Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond BMR. And I am your host, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. How is everybody today? Joining me in Studio B from the great state of Texas, Tex. Beyond BMR goes beyond the mysteries of the world. We take you down a deep dive into all the rabbit holes and realms surrounding us today out in the woods or wherever you may live. From Bigfoot to Dogman, UFOs to aliens, from time travel to the paranormal. How do all these strange phenomena come full circle? Tonight's show, Cindy Goodbrake from the great state of Idaho. Idaho's fascinating. So is our guest. It's going to be a fantastic show. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. Please subscribe to Texas Front Porch, also found on YouTube. You can find us on Odyssey Radio, which I guess now is called Subspace Radio, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, wherever podcasts are found, including KPNL Radio. Thank you to the lovely Selene for that. Don't forget, the Super Chat is open. The Super Chat's a great way to help support what we do around here. Your donation is appreciated. Thank you so much for that. Speaking of what we do around here, we do quite a bit of different things around here. And I'll get into that for all you guys as well. On Monday nights, don't forget, it is the Texas Front Porch. Text can be found 9 o'clock in the East with the lovely Brandy. On Mondays, Tuesdays is Van Buren Variety. Find Bobby at 8 o'clock in the East. Tuesday nights, of course, right back here with Beyond BMR with myself and Tex, 9 in the East. Wednesdays, Jason McLean questions everything, 8 o'clock in the East. The Diva Dimension, Wednesday on Texas Front Porch. Find the Diva, 10 in the East. Thursday afternoon, myself and Krista from the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, 1 in the East. Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Thursday nights is the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast. Find them at 9 o'clock Thursday. And if you need a little more woo mixed in with the booze, you got them again Fridays, 9 in the East. Saturday, Tex, true crime, fantastic if you're into it. It's called Infamous Minds. Tex and Danielle Diva, Saturday, 3 in the East. He had a great show last Saturday. Go check that one out. Of course, my lovely friend Jessica Jones. Don't forget about her Spaced Out Radio on the weekends, 10 in the East, and she is the Cryptid Huntress. You can find her on her YouTube channel as well throughout the week. Thank you to everybody for coming on in. And don't forget, I do have to thank everybody for purchasing my book, Bigfoot Michigan Rob Presents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1. Look at that fascinating artwork. Thanks to Jason McLean for putting that together for me and a couple other things he helped out with on the book. Thanks to Jason. Thanks to people that have bought that. You can find that on Amazon. So enough of that. I'm going to go bring up my sidekick.
I was waiting for you to go, and I want to say thanks to the lovely Jason McLean for this.
I almost did, Tex. You read my mind. We performed a little half-assed mind speak there. I almost said the lovely Jason. I did, Tex. I mean, you literally read my mind. And I had to take a back step on it. So I'm glad you caught me and threw that into my head.
Hey, I'm always willing to help there, brother.
I know you're always, yeah. I know you're always ready to help me out, and I do appreciate you coming on once again. And so, Tex, you had a fantastic show last night. I popped in, and you had a great show, and yeah, it was pretty much off the hook a little bit talking about those little people.
I know, and it's a subject that I'm not well versed in. I concentrate on the other stuff, and it's just amazing. And actually, Cindy is a good resource for that too. I mean, there's not much that she don't know about, honestly. I mean, she's well versed in just about everything as far as cryptids goes, and she's got so much stuff going on around her place. Oh, quick! I see her backstage. She's shaking her head and
yeah,
well,
I'm
getting her all. I'm trying to amp her all up and everything.
Yeah, we got to amp. When I met Cindy, not personally, I saw her first on the Paranormal Portal about 3 years ago. She was on like twice. I said, man, she's fascinating. So I was sitting there saying, whenever I have a show, I got to get her on. And I think she's been on once a couple of years ago with you and I, Tex. I know she has. I don't know what show it was. But yeah, when you want to hear some spooky stuff that's going on, we got Cindy in Idaho, and we're sitting here talking about her. I'm going to bring her up.
Well, that's good. We can sit here and talk about her all night and just let her listen.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
all right, there she is. Everybody.
I tell you what, I was lucky enough to have her come out in the field, and I actually got to spend some time with her in Brown Springs and stuff. And
I would bring her on.
When she gets up here, we'll ask her about her truck getting unlocked.
Oh my Lord! Okay, we got a lot to talk about.
We were just talking about that today. Okay, I'm freaked out now.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, I guess everybody's got that telepathy going on. I guess I don't know. I never heard about that until Tex brought it up. I said, "Yeah, I think I remember that story," and I can't remember hearing it. But Cindy, before we're all babbling on here. Thanks for coming on the show, Cindy.
Sure.
I love those answers. Sure. Nice to the point.
I mean, what?
Yes.
It's like going to Ma's house.
Yes, I know. How are you?
It's like going on Sunday, to Ma's house for dinner with y'all. It's no big deal.
I know it's not. That's why we're excited.
Well,
I'm honored.
There you go. I was just talking to Cindy, backstage, and she, of course, she's up in Idaho, and she makes a pilgrimage down to Texas about once a year, and we're already talking about getting back out in the field and stuff together. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
it's last time we were out, we had some stuff happen.
It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not what I expected. That's for sure.
Well, and the thing about it is, though, you were really worried about going to that area, but it was kind of like facing one of your fears that you'd been, and I think it did you a lot of good. Really, I think it was therapeutic for you because you kind of nailed that hide up on the wall, as per se, and you did have some weird stuff happen to you 2 nights in a row, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And yeah,
and that deer tree. Remember that deer tree?
Yeah.
I still have pictures of that.
Well, we could probably get into a little bit of that too. Hey, you know what, Cindy and Tex, we can get into a little bit of that as well. I'd like to hear a little about the Brown Springs and Cindy. But Cindy, you're in Idaho. I know you've been in Texas. You might have been born in Texas. I'm not sure on that, but I know that you currently are in Idaho. And I tell you, where you live, throughout, I followed you on your Facebook, see you on a variety of shows, and you've got a lot of weird things that have happened to you in Idaho and in other places. If you want to take it from wherever you'd like, how you first got involved and what you got going on, maybe currently, maybe talk about a little of your past that led up to where you're at today.
Yeah, so I started, so I saw the film when I was young. I don't know. I must have been maybe 7 or 8 when I saw the Patty Gimlin film. Don't ask me why. It was so weird that I saw it. I don't know where I saw it, but I know that I saw it. And then in 1999, I went online and I just, like a lot of people did. And then I met up with people down there and I researched. I found a group of people that I hung out with for a couple of years, and I had some other people teach me how to track and teach me just, the ropes. And I had some pretty bad encounters down there, and I was pretty much only like flesh and blood, but I didn't know any better. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew, things I experienced out in the field. And then my husband was active duty, so I was actually going to quit researching after 5 years because I had a night out at Boykin Springs. I get Boykin confused with Browns. I've messed that up on other shows, but Boykin Springs, we were out there before anybody else was out there. I mean, like we were some of the pioneers going to that area. Well, I mean, as far as I know, I don't know. But my husband was active duty, and we got transferred up here to North Idaho. And the first thing I told my husband, because I had to stay back in Dallas, because I drove from Lake Tawakoni to East Dallas, to Dallas, North Dallas every day to work. And my husband came up here and he found this house, and I told him, no house in the woods, and everything nothing else worked out. So I was like, okay, I just fell in love with the place before I even moved here. And, when I moved up here, my kids were little, 2 and 8, 2004, 8 or 9, my oldest, John. And I've had just 20 years or whatever of stuff happening up here. And since 2021, we've been going, snowbirding down in Texas. And then that was when I went out with Tex and some other people back to Brown Springs. And we'll get into that, because I was really scared, like you said, to go. And it was a good experience for me. So,
you were recently on a show, and why don't you talk about, huh?
I said, oh no, what?
No, I was just gonna. Why don't you tell everybody the show that you were on, because it was pretty cool, I thought.
I don't know which one.
Oh, you've been on. I didn't know you'd been on that many. Look, we have a celebrity in our midst here.
Yeah,
no. I don't. I have Alzheimer's. I can't remember yesterday.
Well, why don't we go with something, Cindy, what you've been experiencing maybe of late? Because I've heard. Okay, I remember, if we even go back a year or two, I remember hearing these strange sounds coming from your wood line, or from is it the Hoodoo Mountains? Are you at the foothills of the Hoodoo Mountains? Is that where you're at?
Yeah.
I heard that's pretty creepy.
So where I live, there's a mountain. It's right there, called Hoodoo Mountain. And when I first moved here, before I moved here, my husband called me one night in 2004, like February, and it was blizzarding outside. And, I'm back in East Texas, and he was telling me he could hear the wolves and all the stuff. And so, I hear crazy stuff all the time, but since the last couple of years, so I've kind of crossed over. If you want to talk about that, from moving here, I've had a lot of paranormal things happen. And then I've had some other things happen with seeing, paranormal stuff happen before my eyes. So I've crossed over into the world of the, quantum physics, I guess. I don't like saying the woo, but, so right now we are living in our RV, but it's not like any RV. It's like a house on wheels. And my home is actually right there. You can see it somewhere over there. But my family is staying in the house, and we have been here. I was supposed to leave this past winter, but we didn't, because my father passed away and all that. So I was in Texas, but I wasn't there to do any anything fun. But when I came back, and since last year, I've had some crazy things happen. Some things that were told to me by a lady I didn't even know, and then I took it from there, because I formed Sasquatch Sisters Northwest in March of 2022, and I formed it with another gal who was amazing. And she lived on the other side of the mountain, and I've known her since 2008, and we've worked together. You should have her and her team, her son Mitch, on your show. But they have a group on Facebook. Y'all need to look it up. It's called Legacy Discoveries in Search of. But I can send you the link. You need to have them on your show, because they do a great job of researching. So I've known her for a long time, and we were on a team, and it was pretty brief, because life happens, and she had stuff going on, I had stuff going on, and then they went and formed a team, which is fine, because what I'm doing, I'm not here to prove anything. I am here just to share my journey. And then, time has gone by, and then you have more and more people that want to hear your stories. And so I'm on around 5.5 acres, and I have audios. You've heard some of them. I've had tracks I've taken pictures of. I've had my house slapped. I still have the prints on my house. I've tried to scrub it off. But it just leaves like a dark film. So we are probably going to have our house painted. Someone was saying I should remove that slat, but I'm not going to. So what I do, and what my team is going to be doing, because I do have a team in the wings that I haven't come out yet and announced, because right now it's just me solo. I thought I would take a year off and reevaluate me, who I am, and what's happening around here, and what do I want to do, because this goes deep, 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 deep. And I'm still wondering, like, I don't know if I want my son living here. I don't know if I want my grandchildren growing up here. I don't know.
Is that because of the paranormal activity and things that are going on, basically, or something else? Is that really the basis behind this?
It's because of everything, and I can't control it. I've tried to sage over and over. So I have a clan, obviously, in the area. There might be a couple, I don't know, but there is a female that comes around, and I've seen her once at night. So it's not like it's daytime. She is cinnamon in color, I think. And for the third time, I've seen like the orange, yellow, red eyes, but it wasn't like demon like how people say sometimes. Because I've seen another Sasquatch on a ridge off the Columbia River, in 2019, and I saw the same red eyes, but it wasn't a bad feeling. Actually, that was a funny story, which I'm not going to tell y'all. But those clowns, remember when they scared me? I told you all that story.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so what's happening here is that over time, I've had some paranormal things happen. Like I was hearing my name being called from the woods. I was finding my horse's manes messed with. I don't know if you want to call them braids. The audios, my other animals, my dog being roared at, Gunner. I've got an audio of that. Other family members having encounters. But the thing that's really bugging me is that I have learned to accept the fact that this area here, there's too much. There's an ancient energy here that I was told. I'm actually writing a book, but I've kind of slowed down on it because my mind is just like, brain dead. I'll have to get back to it. There are land spirits here. There are elementals. There are little people, and there are mean. There's also some Sasquatch here that I would say 2 or 3 I can feel when they come around, and a lot of people say, how do you feel them? The only thing I can tell you is when you're out in the woods and you feel that, when you feel that feeling like something is around.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a presence that you get.
Okay. So I have been able to hone in on some skills, because we all have these skills. You just got to tap into them. And I don't want to say psychic or whatever, but we as human beings, we are on a learning planet, and there's so much out here that it's not just Sasquatch. And as far as here where I live, there's a lot of unrest. So, and there's an ancient force, an ancient being that is not Sasquatch. And last year,
Let me
when
ask
I
you
formed,
really quickly, when you say about this forest or there's something weird out there, perhaps are you suggesting that maybe your property or within the miles of which you live is maybe ancient burial grounds from perhaps First Nations people, or just when you get that feeling?
Okay, so last year when I formed my team, I had brought on two people to help me clean my property, and they brought in the sound bowls. I don't know anything about that, okay, but I'm learning about sound healing and just energies and frequencies on a higher level, okay, and because it all goes together, okay, and people don't understand this. You can look at this from a scientific, spiritual, you can combine them. That's what I like to say.
Okay.
So these two people came over and we basically walked my whole property, and they were able to tell me that there was portals on my property. I don't know anything about portals. They also suggested that to the right of my property, I said nothing to these people. They're friends of mine. They felt that there was some kind of burial ground back there. And I don't know what that is, but I don't go back there and mess with that area. I don't let my kids, like, there's a lot of dead trees back there. I don't know what we're going to do, because next summer we're going to have to clean up all this stuff, which is that area too. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that area over there. And another thing that they discovered was there was a lot of land spirits that had, like, gotten attached to me, I guess. And so Tanya, who is an amazing human being, she's super talented, super gifted. She did her cleaning, I guess, and there was just so much that they tapped into, and it drained me. We were all emotional. We went on top of the mountain and we did the same thing. We did the sound bowls, and that is just, I mean, I used to make fun of those people who did, like, the sound bowls. Oh, kumbaya, all that. Oh, no, never again. It works. Staging works. You have to walk around. What I do is, when things start getting a little bit too much, I get off the stage, and I've been taught to walk around my property and stage it. Now, I haven't done it that much. I've actually had people do it for me, and sometimes you can, like, I have this thing on a card, what to say, but you have to mean it. I spend a lot of time out here, like in the morning, listening to the sounds as the sun comes up. And then in summertime, because it's light here at 4:45 a.m., it's a little bit harder because I'm not getting up at 3 to be outside in the dark. So in summertime, I don't do that much. I have caught just creepy feelings just being out here. So this last summer, I got a lot of answers in 2022. Jessica Jones, love her. She remote viewed my property twice. I said nothing to her, nothing. She also confirmed there's portals there, there's ETs, and that they're using this as they're just coming and going. Now take that information with what you want, but it's crazy. But have I seen any ETs on here? Well, I've seen UFOs up on the mountain. I've had reports of other people seeing UFOs, including a local sheriff. There's just all kinds of crazy crap out here. But the thing that you can't mess with is the mountain is called Hoodoo. It's called Hoodoo for a reason. It was named after that from the Native Americans. And I'm trying to think exactly where or who told me that, because I know Angelique did a lot of research on this area, and she knows a lot because she lived here in the area. There's just things that haven't been dealt with yet. You know what I mean? And a lot of people around here just don't have any respect for, well, not just around here, but just in the world, like, respect. Another thing I learned last year, I went to Phenomenon, and this was world changing for me. So one morning I woke up before the day I went to Phenomenon. This was like a couple of days after everybody was out here, and we were staging each other. We were staging the whole property. We were just drained. And I woke up one morning and there was white feathers like outside my door. This was not a kill. I don't know where they came from. They weren't even chicken feathers. These were like white feathers. Like I don't even know what happened, where they came from. And I'm like, okay, what does this mean? Because I don't like to like take too much meaning into like glyphs and all this stuff, because I just haven't done that because I'm too lazy. I should have by now. There's no excuse why I shouldn't have tried to have gone to the next level because of my comfort level. So it's all in good timing, I guess, for the individual. So I went to Phenomenon, and my friend went with me, and I went there to go see like all my friends, Russell Accord and all those guys. And my friend who went with me said she wanted me to go with her to go visit this table of Rebecca Foster. I'm like, who is that? And she goes, I don't know. We're reading the information on all of the vendors and the speakers there, and she's a world famous clairvoyant. She has a website. It's called godstool.com, godstool.com. Y'all go check it out. I am not kidding you. She has helped me so much in my personal life. We walked over to her table, and I'm looking over at Adam Davies, and I'm like, hi. And then I look back, and she's looking at me. She is looking at me, and she said, I can see your Sasquatch. There's like 8 people standing around. I'm like, who are you talking? Like me? And she's like, yes. Do you have a white wolf dog? And I said, I have a Malamute. And she said, okay, the Sasquatch want you to take her to the vet. Something's wrong. They're saying cancer. I'm like, because I was noticing that something was not right with her on the way down to Phenomenon. And I said, okay, who are you and who told you about me? And she said, I've never seen you in my life. And she started laughing, and she's like, because I said, oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to insult you, but I'm like, really? And she's like, yes. And then she told me some other things, and everyone is just standing around witnessing this. So when I came home from Phenomenon, I took my dog to the vet, and he confirmed she had cancer and a enlarged heart. So I'm like, oh man. So Star, my dog, died in my arms February like the 7th or 8th. And then my father passed away a week later. And Rebecca Foster also made a comment, but I don't know exactly what she said. And she said that there's a lot of lore here. There's a lot of unrest. Jessica said this, the other people that were on my property. And also last year, my whole team, well, me and my other partner and the other girl that was here, we witnessed like 2 or 3 Sasquatches peeking out from behind a tree way out in the back. And this was a day of intense healing. Oh, this also has to do with the ley lines. My property is like close to a ley line. Like this whole area here is like on a ley line. So if anyone has, like, I don't know, I didn't know anything about the ley line. I mean, I had heard about it, but and I still don't really know a whole lot. I just know that the Power Line Road runs that way, like maybe 15 acres straight ahead. And I have gotten a lot of stuff. They also spy on me from across the street, and then it goes up the mountain. So I have had a lot of paranormal stuff happen on this property, and it hasn't all been like nice. because I'm not into, you know, I tried to separate it years ago before 2017. I heard my name called from the woods. I had a horse trailer. It's in the back. I came outside one night and I went over to my neighbor's house to get something, and my horse trailer was shaking and there was nothing in it. And then, just crazy crap, like feelings. I've had um paranormal, is it paranormal roundtable?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Shoot. Help me out here. Brent and Don show.
Paranormal Portal is Brent and Don.
Okay. Paranormal Portal. Sorry, Brent. They were out here. Me and Brent were sitting around and we heard a huff. There was nothing there. I mean, I've just had numerous people on my property, and I'm very selective who comes on here. And experience things. I have friends that come over and we don't do anything Sasquatch related. But I have had, like if I'm outside, I will hear like, a lot of mimicking sounds like in the daytime and at 3 a.m. too. They have just gone off. And if they go off like in crazy, it means something. For example, one night we went to bed. This was in 2021. We were in bed, and then all of a sudden we had our window open. I think it was May, and they were going off. And even my husband, who was not into this topic, is like, oh my God, seriously, go tell them to shut up. So what I do is you have to acknowledge them. They're a people. They're a lot of people. They just want to be acknowledged. So they're trying to get my attention. I go outside on the back porch, which is the back of my house, and it's nothing but woods back there. And they're just going off. And I sat down on the back steps, and then they stopped, and I'm like, what is going on? And then they kind of just started up again when I went back inside, and I was like, oh my God, whatever. So we closed the window and I went to sleep. Then the next morning, I realized my dogs were missing. At that time, I had a lab. I still have Gunner, my lab. That's the dog that got roared at. I have an audio of that. And I had a Australian Shepherd Ace. I don't have him anymore. They were gone. Ace was always taking off, and we don't know why, because he's got a good home here. I don't know. Is it the breed? I don't know. I mean, it would just drive us crazy because we have a fence up. We have the collars on them and they beep. We have it on the highest shock, but sometimes those collars would act up. And this one day they took off, and I woke up and I was thinking, are you kidding me? This is what they were trying to tell me last night. I opened up my sliding glass door that on this side right here, and I was looking up at the mountain. Laying on the ground was a collar. I think it was Ace's collar. And I'm like, seriously, how did this come off of him? Mm-hmm. So that whole day I was on my local board and I was saying, hey, my dogs are missing. And I found them like later. Somebody called me in. They were gone for like 24 hours. And that night there was not a peep. The woods were so quiet, you couldn't even hear the crickets. And I went in the woods the next day and I was like, so y'all were trying to tell me that the dogs were gone, right? And then I said, well, that's crazy. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know. So then the next time that my dogs got out, there was not a peep out of them. So I don't know why that one time they went nuts. I don't know what they were trying to tell me, but things like that happen, like just crazy things. And they'll be going off for no reason. And I'll just go outside and acknowledge them and go, okay, all right. And then they'll be done, or they'll be out here and they'll make a noise and I'll be like, what was that? And I'll walk the area. So I'm not really sure, I don't have all the answers, but I just know my property. And over time, I've learned about the female. She only comes around when things happen that are like sad or tragic. Um, Star, after Star died, um, I had some pictures that I put on Facebook, and I had some people say, "Look at this photo, Cindy. There's a Sasquatch in the back." There's a Sasquatch standing over my dog, kind of like with its hand down like that. You could see, I mean, you could see the like the shape of the head, and in a lot of my pictures that I am getting like the oh in the mouth. Uh, they will do this with their mouth. And I'll take pictures of them, and they'll be going like this. I don't know what that means, and I never even noticed that. Raven, my other partner up here, she's the one who told me about it, and I went back looking over some of my photos, and you could see the O, that's what we call it. And so people have different opinions of them. I used to think they were only flesh and blood. I ran around with like Bear and Kumbo and all those Bigfoot outlaws. They weren't called that back then. I haven't talked to them in years though, so I really can't say, much about what they're up to lately. Those were, that was back in the days of, Texas, East Texas, and but when I came up here, this, this is years of putting things together, years of being outside, years of putting my audio out, and then I'll play it, and I'm getting like war drums or chanting, and I'm like, why am I getting this? Or they will drain my batteries. When I put up my game cameras, it's not for them. It's for the burglars, or it's for the game in the back if I want to catch photos.
Yeah.
So I have put up my game cameras out back. One, and I will flat out say this is not for you, because the first time I put it out there, I just put it out there and I didn't say anything. I had 80 shots of them throwing something at the camera, just making it go off. Then my camera was switched over, and I had like 25 of that way. And I'm not talking just like a little, I'm talking it was switched all the way around, and it was still tight on the tree. So I don't know, because nobody knew I had put that up, and nobody can come on my property because all my neighbors around me are pretty private. We're not, like my neighbor isn't going to come through my woods right here. He'll come through my driveway. That's a big no-no around here. You will get shot. I mean, not right off the bat, but people up here are very protective of their property and each other. So am I ranting, or did I answer your question?
No,
Go right ahead.
You're fascinating me. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. I don't know how long I could live there though, because what you're telling me, it's like, and I'm no wimp. The Sasquatch is fine, but all this other stuff, all these communications that are being sent to you, would drive me bonkers.
Well, last year was amazing. And and hard too, because it was around November that I started, things were wrapping up with my family. So, and we were here, we didn't leave anywhere. And I was in my toy hauler, and it's a pretty good toy hauler. So we had to winterize it and all the stuff. But one night, I was really mad. I was really mad because my, family dynamics and all this crap, I had bought an airline ticket to go to San Antonio, and then it didn't work out for dumb reasons. And I was just like really mad. And I really try not to get like that, because like, what's the point? I am all about vibration. I am learning a lot of things about frequencies and vibrations and energies. Everything is tied together. And if you get like angry all the time, it's really a waste of your energy. Now we're human. Like if something happens, you're going to get mad. But what I have been taught by some of these people, I actually work with some of the tribes around here. And And with some of these other people that do like sound healing and all this, they're teaching me how to, instead of reacting, react, but then get over it. You need to learn how to bring your vibration up, because when I do that, then it's not so crazy, or the way I receive it, the energies, it bounces off me when it's like something evil. Because I got evil shit running through. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I not say that? I've
All
got
right.
evil stuff running through here too. I've got some kind of dog man thing hanging around. I'm not even really sure. I've heard it like 2 times, and I've been told by one person, and I can't remember who it was. Darn it. They feel like it's just a loner, and they're just kind of interested in people, and he's kind of just been hanging around the area, and I don't know, but I know I've gotten audio of something canine crazy.
Is that the
Um,
audio that you had on your back porch? I remember watching you a long time ago, and you had this creepy, crazy, it sounded canine on your porch. Is that the one you're referring to?
yep, yep. So last year was mind-boggling. I learned a lot about this place. I learned a lot about the area, like more. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm just waking up, and I just accept it. If things go crazy, I just stage the property. But it seems like there's always something. It's like there's always something, like just walking around, you can feel the dread. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what is this dread that I'm feeling? Is it me? Is it my family? Is it something, like what is in the air? And it's almost tiring to the point that I don't know if I want to stay here like for the rest of my life. And I mean, I'm telling you what, Texas was looking pretty good coming back, but I will never live there full time, just part time. So right now that's what we're doing. I'm leaving here in a week. I'll be down there eventually in November. But so like I said, when I went down there in 2021, I did get with, I'm sorry, what was your name again? I'm just kidding. I got with Tex, and
Girl,
I have to give you a hard time. I
that's why I
was,
love you, darling.
yeah, and like Michelle Miller, all those guys. Anne and her husband, I just love all those guys. Even though we're not all on the same page of what we believe, that's okay. Um,
Well, it's nice. It's nice to have a bunch of people together that don't think that don't think just the same, because you
mhm.
toss ideas and theories and experiences back and forth, and I mean, if we all thought the same way, it'd be boring, you know?
Yes, and those were 2 things that was on my list, because I was all about facing my fears. This is before last summer, okay? This is before I formed a team. I was so excited because we hit the road, and, at first I was groveling. I really didn't wanna hit the road, but my husband was like, "Oh, I'm retired, we're gonna hit the road," and I was like, "Okay." And also because our parents are aging, and, our Texas, the family place down there's a couple of different places. We can just pull in with this and just plug in, and, dad needs us down there. So, that was the main reason that we were down there. But I thought, okay, because I had met y'all, and I was like, "Hey, Tex, all right, so we're gonna, you said you were gonna go." And so we planned that, and then some other people came, and it was nice to see all those people. I was terrified to go because I've been to Brown Springs, I've been up to the cemetery. I was with people who wouldn't even go out there at night with any female, barely in the daytime. And one time I went out there with a group of people. I know Bear was there, and some other people from the old days. And my older son was 4, and I took him. Don't ask me why I took him. I don't know. But we did not camp out there. We stayed in a hotel, and it was actually cold at night. And I think it snowed. It might have snowed. I don't remember. But we found some weird crap. Like there was a dead horse off the Red River, but there was just something that didn't sit right with that kill, and you can feel the vibe of something that's happened in the past. That's another thing I tell people.
Yeah.
You can feel the vibes of history sometimes. And that cemetery, oh my gosh, there's just so when I met up there, I was really, really scared. I mean, Tex was probably thinking, golly, don't come. Because I would text him and say, like, I don't know, I'm kind of worried. And so some of the crazy things that happened are like we went to the cemetery and my truck, I slept on my truck and it was locked up. Didn't somebody stay at camp?
I believe so. We usually leave somebody at camp all the time.
So when I came back to camp, my truck door was open and nothing was missing. There was no fingerprints anywhere. I always look for fingerprints on my vehicles, like big fingerprints. My truck was open and there was like that happened the next day too when we left. So
Well, didn't it happen to it? Didn't it? Now, one night it happened while you were asleep in the truck, and you found it the next morning. The door was open.
I just remember the truck was open 2 times. Probably because
I want to say the second time you woke up, or no. What it was, we were in camp. What it was, we were in camp, and we had just gotten up, I believe, and we like left for a little bit, but we weren't gone very long. Came back and your truck was open.
yeah,
Something like that.
that could have happened because I remember it being open 2 times and we even talked with everybody there and nobody, I mean, I'm the only one that has the keys.
Right.
It was open and I always lock, it and it's, it's a pretty new truck.
Yep.
So, and then we had some other crazy things happen there. We saw that tree. It had like those deer parts sticking out. Like, what the hell is
I've
up with
still
that?
got pictures of that. Yeah.
Is that still there? Or have you been back?
The tree's still there, but the deer parts aren't there anymore.
Okay, that's like some witchcraft stuff. I don't know, but I did not like that, and it was just like paranormal all the way. It was just so weird. And you were in your tent. Didn't you hear like walking around early in the morning?
Yeah. It was like 1:30 in the morning. That's when I thought it was Gary getting up and walking beside my tent with Scout, but it was because I thought, why are you coming over here to take a leak?
Yeah.
And because it was footsteps, and because I was camped on the gravel, and my cot was right next to the wall of the tent, and whatever it was walked right by my tent and then huffed twice in my ear because my ear was right next to the tent. And that's when I'm thinking, okay, well, it could be a pig, it could be this. I'm trying to,
rationalize
what it could be. And then I'm like, crap, my pistol's in my truck. and so I just rolled over and grabbed my phone and hit record, rolled over, went back to sleep. And that's where I caught the wood knocks all around camp for the next several hours. So,
wow.
Yeah. And we had something like that happen in a recent trip too. They were walking all around our tent and we were at a different campsite. So yeah, that's relatively normal down there.
Yeah.
Really quickly too, I definitely am into the Brown Springs trip you guys had, but I got a question for you, Cindy, too, because you mentioned during the story about some First Nations people or friends, Indians of the area, and they're big on a lot of the history. Were you able to maybe ask any of these folks about the history of where you are, and maybe they had any insight as to the years that have gone by prior to you that were maybe they've had these same sorts of experiences, or they kind of like tight-lipped about it? How do they act with you? How were they with you?
Well, a lot of people think I'm Native American up here, even though I am really like from, Mayan or something in my
Uh-huh.
blood. Hey, shoot, it's getting dark. Can y'all still see me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Um, I think we should be fine for another 40 minutes. I didn't realize that. I apologize.
You're okay.
Um, yes, as a matter of fact, yes. So I have gone to a couple of okay, so I spoke in Spokane in 2019, and this one guy, he has a shop in Spokane, Washington, and I was waiting for my son to come hear me talk. My Both of my kids came, but when my younger son walked in the door, he was kind of, he is dark like me. My great grandmother, they called her Nachita. And let me tell y'all something. That lady was a healer. Amazing. And I believe that we all have the DNA from our ancestors in our blood, and it comes alive in all of us. Some people don't believe in that. Um I also So my son walked through the door, and this guy who was trying to tell me what about his services, he looked up at my son and he said, "Is he a healer?" And I went, "Huh? No, he's 17. He's 18." He's like, "Okay, your great grandmother is here right now. Your grandmother." And I said, "My grandmother." He said, "She's really like she looks like a really like." He didn't want to say Indian. I said, "Nachita?" And he said, "Yep, that's her." I was like, this guy wasn't even advertising for that. He was like some
Yeah.
kind of massage therapist or something. And I'm like, I thought he was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
And he looked at my son and he said, "Your son is super talented." And I said, "Hmm." And he said, "He just doesn't know it yet. And he's more intuitive than you are." And I was like, "I'm not like, I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
That was kind of like the beginning of the realization of what I was dealing with.
Okay. Hey, right there,
And
Cindy, why don't you hold it right there? So we have to take our 5-minute break and we can pick up right where you left off. And I do appreciate that we have to hit our sponsors up. We'll be back in 5 minutes with Cindy Goodbrake and all these crazy,
woo.
awesome, kind of. I really love this show. Great show, Cindy. We'll be back in 5.
4 minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. We've got a great show. Cindy and Goodbrake. We're talking cryptids and the paranormal activity, all the strange stuff she's got going on. And we're also going to get into what happened to her along with Tex and Brown Springs. Before I get started, thank you to Anella for the awesome super chat. Amy, Cryptid Crystal, Northern Cali. The super chat is a great way to help support what we do around here. I really do appreciate that ever so much. So thank you very much for that. Again, you can find us on Bigfoot Mr. Rob channel. Our shows throughout the week is Texas Front Porch. Mondays, 9 o'clock in the East. Tuesdays is Van Buren Variety, 8 o'clock in the East. Beyond BMR, 9 o'clock in the East. Wednesdays, Jason McLean questions everything. Jason comes on at 8 in the East. Wednesday night at 10, the Diva Dimension on Texas Front Porch. Please subscribe and go check her out. Thursdays is Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, 1 o'clock with me and Krista. Later on in the evening on Thursdays, the Blondes, the Booze, Paranormal Podcast at 9 in the East. Please subscribe to them. A little more woo mixed in with the Booze Friday nights with the Blondes, the Booze, and the Woo, 9 in the East. Saturdays, Tex, Infamous Minds on Texas Front Porch, along with Miss Diva. Fantastic show. It is true crime. It's fabulous. Check it out. And of course, my buddy, my friend Jessica Jones, Spaced Out Radio, Saturday and Sunday, 10 in the East. She's the Cryptid Huntress. You can also find her twice during the week on her channel. Go subscribe and check her out. Thank you ever so much. And everybody, thank you for buying my book. Bigfoot Michigan Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1. Thank you so much for those of you that have bought it, that have left a review. It's doing okay, I guess, for my first book. So I do appreciate that. You can find that on Amazon. Hello, Tex. And hello, Cindy.
Hey,
Welcome
hey.
back. Well, look what we got here. Texas Front Porch. That's a great show. Great show. If you're not subscribed to Texas Front Porch, you can find them on YouTube. Sometimes I make a guest appearance. Thanks, Tex, for that. I love you, buddy.
What you call paid advertisement, right?
That's a paid advertisement. Absolutely. We got a couple other ones. We've got what else we got here? Well, anyway, we've got Cindy. You were just talking about before I had to go to the 5-minute break about how you were told you had these abilities, and now how your son had greater abilities than you, perhaps, and you're just kind of like, okay, if you kind of want to take it from there. And it is getting dark in there in Idaho. I can see your skin in your eyes, but looking good though.
Do you want me to move to light, or is this creepy enough for you?
No, that's pretty good. I like it. I like it. It's up to you. We'll ask the audience. Thanks,
Okay.
Shelley Montgomery, for the super chat. Thank you.
Well, as long as y'all can hear me, I think enough people here have seen my face. Yes, it is getting dark here. So while we were on break, there was like a little, I don't know, like something from the woods, no big deal. That happens all the time, just like a little break or something. But could have been anything. But it's not windy or anything like that. So they're just letting me know that they're there. Um, so my husband is not into this topic. A lot of people know that because people ask me questions. One of your viewers asked, "How do you hone in on your skills?" It's not about how do you do it. It's just about paying attention. I don't have abilities. I hate to say that because we all can do this. It just depends about how open you're going to let your mind go. But the only reason mine is open is because I was having these things happen to me, like in my face. And so I didn't have a choice. I mean, like I can't experience or unsee what I've seen. And so, when I say that I used to be this and now I'm this, it's because I have experienced it firsthand. My great grandmother is of like the Mayan line, I think. We're still doing the genealogy, but let me tell y'all what she was: copper brown. She had super high cheekbones. Her hair was braided all the time. I mean, and she was always making some kind of, hocus pocus stuff. My mom didn't like it. She would be making stuff and she would be doing like stuff over my head and like when we were sick or, whatever. So my son my younger son, ever since he was 12, he's had a couple of different things happen. When he was 12, him and some friends were camping out by a lake, and I agreed to let them go. Well, me and my husband, and he was out camping by this lake, and he took a four-wheeler, and his other friend had a four-wheeler, and they heard something walking around at Blanchard Lake. And then they heard like this big rock being thrown at the edge of the water. And then they were just all creeped out. And so they turned on the lights of the four-wheelers all night long instead of calling us. Like, I don't understand. This is like, it's funny. And it's maddening at the same time. I mean, I'm really shocked. I'm not an alcoholic. But another time, so he came home the next day. Well, he called us and said, "Hey, Mom, this and this happened." So my husband went down there, I think, and restarted the four-wheelers. I don't really remember. When he was 15, he was camping alone. And this is not a Sasquatch experience. This is something else, but this is what we deal with here. And Jason, I need to talk to Jason because he talks about pterodactyls, right? All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my son was camping by himself up on Hoodoo, and he heard like something heavy walking up to his tent, and it stopped, and it made this screeching bird sound, and then it surrounded his tent, and then it left, but it really scared him. Now, did he come home? No, he didn't come home. He went to sleep. This kid like just kills me. So now he's going to be 21. He came home the next day and he told me what happened. And I said, "Well, what did it sound like?" And this is what I did not like. He said it sounded like a pterodactyl. I'm like, "What?" He said it sounded like a pterodactyl. I'm like what the hell? Like, I'm not like I'm not into that. Like, you're supposed to say Sasquatch. So he's had that encounter in 2020, I think, Labor Day weekend. We were gone and then we came home and we had lost power and then we had some kind of fire. It was wild and crazy. As a matter of fact, we had a different RV It was also a toy hauler, and we almost had to evacuate. We had loaded up our toy hauler, and we had just bought this tractor. And I remember looking at that tractor out here by where I'm sitting, and I was just thinking, that thing's going to burn down. I hope it's insured. Like the things I'm thinking of. And then I went through my house, and I never, ever want to go through that again. I was going from room to room. I had to get what I needed after we got all the important papers and stuff like that. We had our animals and our neighbors across the street. We had to almost help them move their animals. But we got lucky. The fire stopped. And then the fire did not come as far out as, here we're like, it was over the ridge. So we were really, really lucky. We ended up sleeping in the RV because we had no power. So that next day, which was, I think, it was Tuesday, because Monday was when all this was happening on Labor Day. And my son had bought this tree climbing equipment, and he had gone to work that day. And when he came home, he was trying out his equipment. And it's 9:00 at night, and he was climbing this tree out in the back, and it's dark, and I'm ready for bed. It was a crazy weekend. I almost lost my house, and I was all stressed out, and I was just trying to be thankful. And I was looking for my son because I had to talk to him about something, and I was ready for bed. Okay. I was in my house. The power came back on. I was like, oh my gosh, like it was fun, doing the power thing for not having power for 2 days. But so I go to the kitchen, and I see this light way back out in the woods. It's his headlamp light. And he is out in the back at 9:00 at night in the freaking dark. He has put on those spurs or spikes that you climb a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I see him run to like 20 feet up. And I called out his name. I said, Justin, what are you doing? And he's like, Mom. And I was like, yeah. And I saw him climb down, but it looked like he was having some trouble. And he's like, stay on the porch. I am like, okay. And then when he walked up, I said, what were you doing? He said, well, I was trying out this equipment, but I was only going up like 8 feet. And then I heard heavy walking, like more than one like on 2 feet. And
Mm-hmm.
he ran up the tree, And I said, what? Really? And I was like, well, weren't you scared? He's like, no. So he came in the house, and then I called Robin McCrae the next day, and she told me, I swear by Robin McCrae, okay, y'all. She has helped me also multiple times. I'm gonna give her the floor here because she needs credit. She said there was 2 Sasquatch traveling through your property when he was up in the tree, and that was just it. They were just traveling through. I was like, okay, this is crazy. So he's just had things happen like that. And I am currently working right now with some other tribes, and I also, learn from my other friends that are tribal members, and they are a people. The Sasquatch up here are ancient. I believe. Now, I see them as a people up here. There are good and bad ones just like us. Now, going down south, I am sorry. I have a hard time. What's so funny?
Just down
Oh
south.
no, go ahead.
Now, going down south,
I'm already reading your mind. That's why I'm laughing. But go
I
forward.
can't see them like that because I'm still freaked out by everything that I've done down there. Now, Arla, when I talk to her in Oklahoma, she's helping me a lot. When I go down there, I'm going to try to go up there and see her in Oklahoma, see if I can learn more from her. So I'm not there yet, in Texas. In Texas, I think that they have different capabilities. I think there's different breeds, there's different types, and I think they can all do different things. I don't think they can all do the same things as like the ones up here. And I will tell you what, you could not put me in Alaska and go researching up there. Hell no. I don't know who sent out a memo to Alaska, but they seem to be going crazy up there.
Yeah.
And so I just worry about where I live here. I take reports. I try to help people. As a matter of fact, if it stops raining.
Cindy, before I forget, really quickly, Shelly, and I'll forget, so I just want to nip this in the bud. Shelly asked a question about your property or Idaho. She goes, "Hey, ask Shelly. She was curious if Cindy knows anything about an Indian spirit who wears a long coat of black feathers." So I wanted
And
to ask that for Shelly really quickly. Thanks, Shelly, for the question. Anything?
okay,
Anything
so
from that
Shelly,
part?
are you getting that premonition right now? Because I don't know, actually. But you know, I've had people on my property and they'll tell me things of like the history of this place. So I mean possibly, but I don't, you know, there's a lot of Indian lore here. A lot. I
Right.
mean, we're talking, you know, since the glacier days, okay? I'm not talking just like when Idaho became Idaho, when the Nez Perce were going through this valley and there was an Indian war, and Chief Joseph, you know, went cabin to cabin killing some of the local pioneers around here. I'm talking way back in the day when this land was formed. Um,
Right.
I was
Yes.
told that there are a lot of native spirits over the different timelines um, in this area. And I wasn't I wasn't going to say anything about this, but I totally forgot. When I was on Brent's show, they hooked me up with a couple of people, and I already forgot their names. Dang it! So what they found out, because I was having a lot of crazy crap and I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, I was losing my mind. And then my, you know, my kid he's a teenager and he's doing teenager stuff, driving me crazy, sneaking out, going up on the mountain on his dirt bike or on his four-wheeler, you know. And then he'd come home and say this and this happened to me, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, you're not going camping, you can't do this, you know, that's no way to live. So I was on the hunt for a lot of answers, you know. And these people, I swear by them. They told me that in the next town over, there's a lake called Spirit Lake. And when you go downtown, there is a story downtown, and it talks about the tribes that live there. There was two tribes. There was this one tribe, the chief had a beautiful Indian daughter, and she was in love with another brave from the same tribe. But another tribe that was close by, um, the chief wanted this young woman for his wife. And so to avoid war, the chief of the Indian girl, he agreed to give his daughter over to this other tribe to avoid war. So she didn't want to marry this other brave. So what she did is her and the man that she truly loved, that she could not be married to, they binded their legs with some of the local reeds, and I forgot what they're called, and they jumped off a cliff. And that is why the town is called Spirit Lake. And
Hmm.
that mountain range goes all the way. That's 6 miles down the road, y'all. Now, my mountain here is called Hoodoo Mountain. I was told that there is a portal, a massive portal over Spirit Lake, and there's another one like inside of it. And it was open, and they wanted to shut it. So one night, I wasn't even involved with this. It took 3 people. We were talking about the dog man that was around her because I had just got that audio and I was really freaked out, and I called a realtor. I was trying to sell like all the stuff, you know, I've talked about on past shows. So these 3 people were going to clean the area, but they said they had to clean the water because water attracts spirits. They said a dog man is a water spirit. Like, I didn't know any of this. And that is when they said that it took 3 of them, 2 of them to lift the portal up. I know this sounds crazy. This is not even my thing. This is what they told me. They said that it took one of them put their hand in the water to clean the water, all the waterways. And at the same time, the other 2 were trying to lift the portals up and out of the area. And the person, Joel, that was cleaning the water, his hand got burned. So he didn't get to finish doing all of the water that he intended to. But they did close a portal, they said. And they said that I think they moved the portal. I'm not even really sure. I would have to go back and ask them. But my main concern was, what the hell of everything going around me. That was like 2017, 2016. I wanted to separate everything. This is when I was getting these Indian chanting, you know, this is before I knew that this all goes hand in hand. And that's what they told me. And so they would check in with me like every 6 weeks, and they would say, okay, you know what, we're going to try to clean up as much as we can of all the stuff just like running rampant. You know, it's not just on my property, it's just here in the area. Like Spirit Lake, if you lived here, there's so much drama in that town with the city council and all this stuff. And they said that's why that whole town is like cursed, because of the control. And so they were going to try to continue doing the work for that town. And they never even got back to me about that. So, I mean, we're talking all kinds of crazy crap here. And I'm just like, I'm out of here, y'all. So, but I'm not. I still live here. I've learned to accept everything, to let go what you can't control. I've learned to really just be happy about what you need to be forgiving. When you love unconditionally, which I don't know how to do yet, when you get to that point, you ascend higher. And we didn't even get into the 3D, 4D, 5D, but all this is real, y'all. Okay. All the stuff goes hand in hand. And the energies that you hang out with, the energies that you put out there to the universe, you know, is what comes back. And this area needs a lot of help. It needs a lot of cleaning. It needs a lot of, but it's continuous. It's like all the time. And it's just too much. I don't know if I want to stay here forever. I thought I did. So it's just the same. So right now, what I am doing is I'm trying to have the best life that I can, because I've had a hard year of, you know, trying to survive. I had some people trying to like slander my name. You know, they didn't succeed, but it really hurt me. Like, I can't believe people do that. And then, you know, this is all when my father was dying, and I didn't even have like the energy to deal with that until like this year. And then my team fell apart, and then I was trying to figure out what happened with that. And so I have learned a lot this year. I've grown a lot. And I'm going to tell y'all what, sometimes when I go out in the woods and it's just me and the woods, if I were to give advice to anybody, never go out by yourself. Always pack. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people have problems with guns, but up here where I live, there's bears, there's grizzlies, but hell, in Texas, there's wild hogs too. So I would say the same thing to anybody. Do not go out alone. I don't care if you're the world's perfect, you know, woodsman or whatever. I don't care. Now I do go out by myself, so I'm kind of doing a double standard here, telling y'all that, but I don't think I'm going to find all the answers here. I think what my job is just to keep cleaning the area, and it's very exhausting. I have to keep going up on the mountain and doing that. I am currently looking for a sound bowl. I might buy one next January. I do have a drum now. I'm drumming some now, and I am working with some of my people. There's a girl, her name is Raven. We're talking about keeping the team going. I did have a page on Facebook. It has disappeared. I don't know what happened. I have my suspicions, but I mean, who knows? Because weird things happen on Facebook, right? I have not built another page yet because right now I just don't have the stomach for it. But a lot of people have really been there for me, and it's been a year, and I think I want to continue the work. Like, I still don't put a lot of stuff on Facebook. The things that I do put on Facebook, like structures, or I'm really guilty of doing a lot of lives and nothing happens. And, people are like, oh my God, 45 minutes and, nothing happened. Well, then why the hell are you watching?
Right.
So I have a lot of stuff going on. But it's just continuing. And that's what's happening. It's just continuing to live with them, to exist with them, to learn more from them. I am starting to do something with glyphs. For example, I am leaving here in a week if we don't go into World War III. Like, I kid you not. I'm worried about hitting the road. I will be in Texas in November, but for the week that I'm here, I am going to put the intent out there. I talk about intent all the time. What is your intent when you go out into the woods? Like, I will tell you right now, if you have it in your head that you want to go out and shoot one and kill one, well, guess what? Don't be surprised if you get met with hostile encounters, and then that's what your opinion is going to be. Like in Oklahoma, they've got that bed out or whatever, $1 million or whatever. Yeah, the bounty, like, seriously? No, that is super disrespectful. Something else that we didn't touch on was how we research, because I don't do everything on my property. I get on my four-wheeler and I have an area that I had a bad experience actually last October. Me and my partner. So I was out on my four-wheeler, and this is important because it talks about respect and how I research and how I'm going to continue to research when we go out. So last October, there was an area on state land that I happened to find from the logging road. There was this crazy structure. I left the four-wheeler running because every hair on my body was standing up. And I walked inside the wood line, and I felt like I was being watched. And then I saw this crazy structure. I took some pictures. I came home and I called my partner. I said, you got to come and see this. She came the next day. We went down there, and she's really smart. She's got like these tricks like I never would think of. She brought some tape, some logging tape, and we marked the tree. And I said, why are you doing that? Because we're not going very deep into the woods here. There was a huge wide game trail, because we have moose and elk around here, like for big game. So we found more massive structures like you would not freaking believe. And I can send you some of those photos. I've showed them on Facebook, and I made a big mistake. You could see the entryway of one of these structures. I was so excited. I climbed in and I didn't even ask. That's the same as somebody coming into your house and not asking. Well, I'm going to shoot your ass if you come in my house and don't ask. So what happened was we took a lot of photos and we left. And we said, oh, crap, we didn't. We found some tracks. I'm not sure of what. We did find some bones. And she's more skilled on like what those bones were. And both of us were sick for 2 weeks. And I think that it was, Jessica Jones actually remote viewed what happened to me and my partner last October. We call that the Longhouse area. And she feels like we got some kind of radioactive poisoning. Now, how is that punishment from them? It isn't. There's two theories here. One, they got us. Okay. But we were sick for like 2 weeks. And I've never had that ever in my life. It's like having infrasound sickness for 2 weeks constant. You're dizzy. You cannot think straight. You lose you have moments of like, where am I? You're disoriented. You have to really struggle to stand up. you're sick, you're nauseous, you don't feel good. She had it worse than I did, because I think it was like 48 hours later, I felt it coming on. And so I have spoken with other people, and like I said, there's two different theories. One, we got sick of radioactive poisoning, and someone explained that to me. How that works, I don't know. But someone else said you didn't respect them and you walked into their home. So when I try to ask before I cut down a tree because it's dead, or I try to ask and respect them, don't take anything. Like, I don't take any bones, or I don't take anything when we find it. I'll take a picture, or if I put if we find a footprint, if we, maybe I'll do a cast and I'll take it for me, but I will ask them, can I take a photo? But on this trip, we did not. Maybe she did, but I know I didn't. So we tell this to people, have respect, please. If you find a structure, please do not just climb in, and don't lay in a nest. We have found nests too up on Hoodoo Mountain. So it's all about respect. I don't care what you think they are. I don't care if you think that they're, an ape out there. You still need to respect that whole thing. It's just be careful, be respectful of the situation, because that's going to make or break the kind of encounter that you were going to have. That's going to make or break how you see this whole situation. Now, you tell me that, and I'm down at Brown Springs, I'm going to tell you, kiss my grits. I do not care. I'm going to be hanging out with y'all, and I'm not going to be as scared as I was last time. But I'm still not done, with the South. And I plan on going back to Boykin Springs, and I'm going to apply the same tactics down there as I do up here. But I'm also going to go further because, that's not my property. When in my backpack, I have like something to measure the footprints with. I've got nighttime goggles maybe that I really never even use. So I will apply different principles, like when I'm with, Tex and y'all out there. Hey, I'm the student. I am out there just walking around. I don't know nothing. I really don't know nothing about the South anymore, because I feel like I went about it the wrong way, if that makes sense. So right now, I will be hitting the road. I am still going to have a team. I do not have a team page. I will in the future. You can find me on Facebook, Cindy Ann Bueno, Goodbrake. I don't always post Bigfoot stuff up because I'm always being attacked by people, so I might give it a rest. I've spoken at events. Next year, I'm supposed to be going to Forks, Washington, and speaking up there in May. I'm on the flyer, so I guess it's official.
Sounds like it.
And, huh?
So it sounds like it.
Once you make it to the flyer, it is official.
Hey, never say never. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I get back, the plan is May. I do have family staying here in the house, and we're putting up cameras right now because we had some burglaries down the road. These people are really dumb here. Someone's gonna get killed, okay? Because people around here don't play. So, we're putting up cameras, and we've got 2 up. My son, we're putting up 2 the back of the shop and 1 for my neighbor. And on the other side of the property where Gunner was roared at, for the burglars. And we say this when we put up the cameras. This is not for you, and they will record for 48 hours straight. And we are always watching the cameras, but we don't, like I said, you have to have respect, and you have to. Ooh, did you hear that? Well, it's going to be sounding like Jurassic Park here in a couple of hours, possibly because it was very active last night. I am not putting out any audio recorders right now because I'm packing, and I put them out last night, the night before, and I woke up and the batteries were drained, and they're brand new batteries. I asked them, and that's her answer. So, okay, I've gone through a whole Kirkland pack of AA batteries, and I'm done.
Well, that was your problem. You bought Kirkland batteries.
Oh,
I'm,
pardon me.
I'm just playing with you, Cindy. I had to say
Oh, I
something.
know.
I had to say something during our show. I knew it was a great show because me and Tex, we kicked back and you just went on like we knew you would. This was just a fantastic show, Cindy.
Look, y'all, that's just who I am. I just
Yeah, that's
ramble on, and if you like it, great. If you don't, well, I guess you
well,
won't have me on no more.
well, I love it. I like it. Tex loves it. Our audience absolutely loves it. We all
Yeah, but
adore
I
you,
mean,
Cindy.
I'm comfortable with y'all, and so
Yeah.
and I mean, we've got to pray, y'all, because right now things are really tough and tense around the country. I need y'all to pray. I mean, in fact, I'm going to ask all your listeners right now to pray for my family,
Okay.
pray for my property, please, because I am seriously not okay with leaving because of how the world is, and because I don't like leaving my family here with all this, but I mean, oh, last year, I'm sorry, 2021 to 2022, I wasn't even here. And one of my family members heard talking, like a conversation, like the like a person with samurai chatter. And this is in my bedroom. Their windows were closed. And I said, "Well, did you get up and go outside and look?" And they said, "No, they just went back to sleep." And I'm like, "Seriously? Y'all are killing me." I would have been like, I would have had my gun. I would have been looking out the back window, but that's happened to me too on numerous occasions. I've heard the samurai chatter out here in the woods. I've heard that. And then I've heard owl mimicking. So, yeah, it's a lot.
Never a dull moment up there, that's for sure.
No, and hopefully you can pick out a time in November, December, and I'll make it happen. Just not Thanksgiving weekend. So if you want to
Yeah.
plan something, text, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. We'll look into it. I got
And
some
maybe
stuff
you,
that's up in the air. I got some stuff that's up in the air right now that's should be resolved in a couple of months. So, but and then I'll be able to make more plans future, further out.
okay, because in Jan and Feb, I think I'm going to be down at Padre or maybe down there at Rockport. I don't know,
No.
maybe. And then in, March, or the end of February, I'll be back too. So if you want to do it then too, we can.
Okay.
I do want to have another gathering, but this time at a private location and, have lunch catered or something and invite all of y'all back. But make this like a day work camp where we all just talk because it was hard to talk in that restaurant with everybody
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, we are planning on having a big meet and greet fish fry in Brown Springs,
when?
probably probably the first of November.
Oh, well,
Somewhere
shoot.
around there.
Then we'll just do that there. I mean, if that's okay with you,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's basically what's going to be anyway.
well, then let's just do that. Then, that'll
Okay.
take care of that. I mean, are y'all going to be camping out too?
Oh yeah, you know that.
Well, then shoot, then there's your answer. I mean, if
Yeah.
I'm welcome,
Oh, well, I guess.
we'll think about it. Well, hey, listen, y'all. I think I need to go in. It is dark. I do apologize. I'm so sorry. I
No,
forgot it
you're
gets dark at 7.
yeah, that's
No
okay.
problem.
We heard you loud
Right
and
on,
clear.
right on schedule, actually.
You were right on schedule. In fact, Tex, she was leaning into closing the show for us. We didn't even have to do that. She started telling where we could find her and where to
Yeah.
look. And so, Cindy, you're a pro at this. I thought it was a great time. I love you. It was fascinating. I believe you. I'm a believer in Cindy, and I know what you got going on is it hits you hard some days, and other days, well, you take it for what it is. And of course, prayers for you, your family, and your property. Already, the people in chat are putting out the good old prayer sign for you. So that's
Oh,
awesome.
yes. Trust me. I need it. I have had a year of I mean, y'all, listen here. I loved that dog, okay? She was my saving grace. I took care of 2 dogs that for the military, my neighbor who was in Iraq in 2013, and one died, and he was in Iraq, and I felt so awful. And then I was spiraling into a depression, and then this dog shows up on my back porch, and it was Star. So I had her for 8 or 9 years, and she died in my arms through Rebecca Foster's vision of what she saw. And you can call her up and ask her. She'll tell you. She'll tell you she saw my Sasquatch. There was another not Navajo, oh my gosh, Lakota elder that told me about my female Sasquatch at Phenomicon. This year I didn't go. Next year, I think I'm going to have a table there. So next year, I don't know if y'all want to start planning your events. I'm going to be going to Forks. Like I said, I think I'm speaking there. I'm going to have a table. And there's going to be some other, Amy Bew is going to be there. David Paulides. And they're going to have speakers from both camps, Flesh and Blood and also the Woo, Rich Germo. So I'm pretty excited. And then Phenomicon, I'm going to really try to go to that in September. And then up here in Meadowling Falls, June, they have the Bigfoot Festival. I think that we might have a team table there. And I'm just going to keep enjoying life and trying to finish my book. And yeah, but I am scared, y'all. I really am. I don't know what the future holds for me living here. I really don't. I really, really don't. But I don't know if I'm gonna, stay here. Like, I feel if I stay here, my son is gonna stay here, and then my grandkids. So that's why I'm writing a book. It's like a guide to help them of everything that I've learned.
Well, it's all about passing stuff down, and if that's I mean, you got to look at it this way. If that's how it works out, that's how it was meant to be. Everything happens for a reason. That's the way I look at it. So,
yeah.
Hey, I'm 60. Okay, I can't squat down like how I used to go pee out in the woods. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you all right now. So, I might be doing this for another 10 years, and after that, I might just be sitting out here in a hammock, just enjoying them around me. I don't know, but it sucks getting older. I can tell you that. And
it does, and I think Amazon does sell a device to help us old people out in the woods. They sell everything else, don't they?
Hey, I'm gonna take one to count for everyone to use.
Yeah. Well, this was a fantastic show, and before we go, I got to thank Cryptid Crystal, Amy, Northern Cali, Anella, Shelley, Tex, Poncho, and Maggie for your awesome super chats. That's a great way to help support what we do. It is greatly appreciated. Does not go unnoticed. I appreciate it. Tex appreciates it. All our group across the porch network appreciates it as well. Thank you so much. And Cindy, thank you so much for a fantastic show.
Oh no, thank you. Because I'm telling you, some people are asking me to be on their shows, and I ain't doing it because, like I said, I am not trusting a lot of people right now. I've got a lot of people that I am just not dealing with anymore. They're still around, but I think I just want to reach my audience, and I just want to really teach about the forest people as far as what's up here. But you can learn a lot from other tribal people, and respect goes a long way. I tell people respect goes a long way.
oh,
Doesn't
yeah,
matter
definitely.
what you believe. That goes a long way.
Respect it is. That does go a long way. I'm a believer in respect as well. And with that, I do respect you, Cindy. Everybody in chat has my respect. So does Tex. I even respect Tex, even though his Cowboys laid an egg this Sunday. That's the
Yeah.
show. Me and Tex could do a sports show about the Cowboys and Alliance. Who knows? Maybe I don't know who would follow us. It certainly won't be cryptid people. I can tell you that. So with that being said, thanks to Cindy and thanks for Tex. Until next week, we are officially out.
All right. Thanks.